In this video, I'm going to show you how to start generating leads from LinkedIn even if you are a complete beginner. Because in 2026, signing clients from the platform is easier than ever. Yet, most people are still stuck posting content with zero engagement and are sending DM that never get any replies. But at ColdIQ, we've set up a system that generates over 100 sales calls every single month from LinkedIn alone. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. The cool thing is that you don't even need to have tons of followers or spend thousands of dollars setting this up. Because AI has made the process of generating leads, even from small audiences, faster and cheaper than most people think. Which is exactly why LinkedIn is a gold mine in 2026. And I'm about to show you how to take advantage of it. I'm gonna break down the system in 3 different phases. Phase 1 is the content. This is where most people stop themselves before they even post a single thing, because they typically assume that they need to be an established expert before anyone on LinkedIn is going to take them seriously. But with the system I'm about to break down, you can start generating real meetings even without a huge audience. And as I said, the first step is posting content consistently. This means you should be publishing something related to your business or offer at least 3 times a week. So focusing on specific problems experienced by specific types of people who you know will be interested in what you have to offer. Now, let me show you how easy it is with the help of AI. So let's get into it. Here you can see my LinkedIn profile, and I'm gonna scroll through the post of last week. So typically what makes a LinkedIn post very successful is that you're surfing on some current trends. So right now for us, Claude Code is top of mind for everyone. And so we try to make a lot of GTM content at the intersection between Claude Code and GTM content and sales, which is our expertise. Typically, if you want to find a great inspiration, I always recommend people to scroll through a tool called Stripe. So here what I would do is that I would look for some specific keywords, topics I want to talk about, and look from other creators, some posts that went viral in the last few days. So here I can get some inspiration for the design. And so here what I would typically do, I wouldn't simply copy paste a post that went viral from another creator, but I would look for pattern. And so here what I can see is that a lot of people are referencing agentic workflows, Claude Code, and so I would want to see why that post actually worked. What you can also do is like go inside of Claude and try to ask Claude to give you a breakdown of why that post actually went viral. And so here what I did also that I would recommend everyone doing is that inside of Claude Cowork, so what you can do is like finding a list of questions that you can answer yourself. So here what I did is that I have a document, an MD file that I'm usually uploading inside of Claude Code and inside of Claude Cowork. And this was built based on an interview that I did with Claude Cowork directly, where Claude asked me a series of 100 questions that I tried to answer as extensively as possible, and it created a 76 pages document that I now use and leverage for any sort of task. So before actually doing any content task, I usually feed that document, so it has so much context about what I believe, what is my story. So here, core belief and philosophy or business, sales philosophy, what are my take on outbound, what's my take on hiring, what are the different playbooks we use in a business, how to actually structure my voice and what is the tone to use, what is the future, what is the vision we have for the business, what is the vision I have for life. And usually thanks to this, I don't need to re-give context to Claude whenever I give him like a content task. And so that is super helpful if you actually want to make very personalized content, because it's just going to speed up the entire process of writing posts. So here I would go inside of Stripe. I would look at posts that did really well, looking a bit at the infographics that work well for the creators. And then I would use my second brain document, feed it to Claude, and then try to give my take on some hot topics. And so if you look here inside of my LinkedIn account for the last week, I had a post that did pretty well. We use a lead magnet on how to use Claude Code to send emails on instantly. This one did really well because I think we serve well on the Claude Code wave. And so here we actually explain 19 APIs that we would actually use inside of Claude Code. You see that the infographic, we managed to kind of take something that is extremely boring for some people talking about APIs, but kind of present it in a very digestible way. Here I've used a small teaser video to actually promote one of my YouTube video. Here another infographics, and one of the posts that worked the best for me over the last few months was actually this one, where we're offering Claude skills specifically for GTM. So inside of our accelerator, we also usually give access to that LinkedIn course. I'm actually gonna add the resource for free in the description. And so here you can actually use some GPTs we've built internally to help you with the content and also to help you generate a hook. There's also 7-step videos that kind of gives you a more detailed breakdown on how to get started on LinkedIn. I will put the link in the description. But the content was only the first part. And now I actually want to show you where the system can start to be really effective. Because most people think LinkedIn lead generation ends with posting content and just waiting for someone to reach out. So this is usually how it goes. They publish a few pieces a week, collect some likes, and wonder why no one is booking a call. But the problem is that they're only running half of the system. They don't know about phase 2, which we call warm or outbound. And this is the part that actually converts your content into real meetings. Every time someone engages with your post or visits your profile, they're signaling that they're at least somewhat interested in what you have to offer, which means that they're technically a new lead. So instead of waiting for them to approach you, you should be immediately reaching out to them. But how do you find these people at scale? That's what I'm about to show you with that Clay table. So here we're inside of Clay. I'm not gonna give you an entire breakdown of Clay. You can see Clay as an interface that allows you to connect to a lot of different data sources. And here I'm gonna use it as an interface to scrape people engaging with our content from my content or from my team. I'm gonna run a series of data enrichment that will help me engage with those people. So here what's happening is that we use a webhook. We use a tool called Trigify that will actually gonna scrape people engaging with my contents, content of my business partner, or content of people in the team. Then here I'm gonna see the LinkedIn post from which the engagement was pulled from. So here you can see that's actually a post from one of our competitors. So we do it either for all contents or content from our competitors. Then I'm gonna look at the first name of the person, last name, the job title, the LinkedIn profile, the company. And then what's gonna happen is that we're gonna run a small qualification just to make sure that they're actually a B2B business, because we only want to work with B2B companies. We're not interested to work with B2C companies. So here you can see what's happening is that we use OpenAI to run specific prompts just to figure out if the company is B2B. Then once it is figured out, we're gonna enrich the company using Apollo. So Apollo is a B2B data source that's gonna give us more information about the company. Then we're gonna check if the company is a fit for one of our businesses. So at ColdIQ, we have 3 different businesses. We have the agency, we have the accelerator, and we have the software partnership. So we're gonna run that small prompt using the API key from OpenAI just to route the leads to the right business. So you can see here, most of the lead actually push to the agency, but we have a prompt that can actually help us route it to the right business. So here we can find the category. We're gonna find the persona. So is it someone in GTM leadership? Is it the founder? Is it someone working in growth, in marketing? Then we're also gonna summarize the topic that was discussed in the post. I'm gonna normalize the company name. I'm gonna clean the company name. And then based on the person, I'm actually gonna figure out what's the best lead magnet we can actually send them. So here you can see we're using Entropic. And so here we're using a prompt that will, based on all the different lead magnets we have available inside of ColdIQ. So here it's like a few lead magnets that we have. We have a GTM report. We have like some case studies from past clients. Then we're actually gonna use this to create a message. So here you can see the message I would send to that person called Carter. Hey Carter, since you like a post about prospect specific demos, I wanted to send over a personalized GTM report for Button. It covers LinkedIn contents, target contacts, and outbound plays your team could run right away. Want me to share it? And so that's the strategy that we follow when we run outbound processes. We actually want to send a lead magnet to start a conversation. So rather than to push for a meeting and be like, hey, you like my post, you want to meet? We actually want to leverage one of our lead magnets to start a conversation with the person. Then we're going to double check that the person is not on a block list, that are not yet in our CRM. We use Atio. And then we're going to push the lead to a campaign inside of Lemlist. And so here you can actually see how you can go from a LinkedIn engagement, people liking competitors' posts, a team member's post, how to take that information, making sure that they fit your business, and then actually automate the outreach to them. So the first thing with the content is that you want to generate as much impression as possible. And here what I'm showing you right now is how do you actually convert those impressions into eyeballs. And so that's what I'm doing with that Clay table. Now this is all part of the same system we use to scale our agency from 0 to 6.5 million, and we give it all away inside of the ColdIQ Accelerator. So if that's something you're interested in, you can access it using the link below. This is the same setup over 170 agencies have used to add between 5K and 50K in monthly recurring revenue. So if you're looking to start an agency from scratch or just want the exact systems we use to grow ColdIQ, just hit the link in the description below to get started. Now, once phase 1 and phase 2 are up and running, the next step is prioritizing who gets your attention, because not every lead is worth the same amount of your time. And as you start getting more and more leads, trying to personalize all your outreach is only going to waste your time. However, you can also not just automate everything either. That would mean sending out the same generic message to everyone, from your highest value prospect to someone who just liked a couple of your posts, which could mean losing some of the best conversations. So instead, we use a tiering system. This is where we split every lead into one of 3 tiers based on 2 main criteria. So that's actually what's happening here. Instead of the Clay table I was showing you earlier, we're actually gonna use the job title as a way to split the different leads into 3 categories. And so for example, if someone has those following job titles, usually I'm gonna reach out to those leads directly. So I'm not gonna automate everything. I'm gonna send them a manual LinkedIn message. If the prospect has one of the following job titles, it's like VP of sales, VP, Vice President of sales, Head of sales, Director of sales, VP marketing, and so on, all those roles titles. Then they're gonna be routed directly to our account executive team, and we're gonna automate the outreach with Lemlist. And then if the title has those following titles, then we're actually gonna push it to an automated email campaign, so we can just automate the entire process. So it's like tier 1, I reach out to the lead personally. Tier 2, the AEs are gonna reach out to them on LinkedIn. And then tier 3, we're actually gonna send emails to the tier 3 persona. So today we went from first learning how to create great LinkedIn content, where to find the inspiration, and how actually to use Claude Code to help you in your content creation, to then scrape all of the engagement using Clay, to then do some tiering system, and then finally engage with the people engaging with your content. And that's exactly how to use LinkedIn to generate leads for your business in 2026. But it's literally just one part of building an agency. So if you want to see everything we did to build Cold IQ from the ground up and scale it to nearly 6.5 million in revenue, watch this video next, and I will see you there.